Sunday. It's kind of fun. It kind of changes things up a little bit. We start in a different place. We get to wave palm branches. There's kind of that feeling of a parade. And I was thinking this morning of trying to think of ways that would be, because we're 2,000 years distant, and not just distance time-wise, but we're distance as far as Jerusalem too. We're not in Jerusalem. So I was trying to think of what it would be like to be there and waiting. Imagine, if you will. Now I'm going to kind of focus a little bit on the university, but you could kind of focus on the high school too. But imagine, if you will, the Cougars having a losing season. Just dig deep and try to imagine what it would feel like. And it was announced. And it was announced probably by Glenn Johnson, we have a new coach! And the coach is coming in, not just to coach football, not just to coach basketball. They're going to do it all. This coach is going to help us to beat all of those people that have been laughing at us and looking down at us all those years, those people that follow the purple W. And I know. But imagine, so then we get the news that he's coming. Maybe she's coming, it could be that way too. But they are coming, and they're coming down Davis Way. And so we all come because we're so excited about this Savior who is going to save our town and bring pride back to Cougar country, to Cougar Nation. And so we all line up, and we're expecting a bus, or expecting at least a limo of some kind, and instead a VW Bug, an old 1960s VW Bug that you probably borrowed from Manette. Yeah, comes driving down the street, and he says, I'm here. We're kind of going, okay. Little different, but, I can kind of get behind that. I mean, it's kind of fun and funky. We will follow you, Jesus, Joshua. We will follow you, Joshua, wherever you go. So what does he do? The first thing is he goes to that place in town that brings us all together. Not Cougar country because it's closed now. But instead, that place that brings us all together where all the big celebrations and the festivals happen. He takes us to Martin Stadium. And he wrecks it. Well, just wait, because your turn is coming. He doesn't just stop there. So he turns over all the hot dog stands and all the beer stands and everything else. And some people do clap because they're thinking, whoa, yeah. But then he moves on. Then he hits academia. No, the scribes and the Pharisees who were cheering when the athletic department got knocked down, suddenly he hits academia, and he turns their tables over as well, and says, oh, you who like to walk around, do you think this was written by pastors? Well, maybe too, but, you who like to walk around with robes, and have everybody, kind of, Dean 7 years old, that kind of, okay. So then he hits that. And I'm sorry, but he heads to City Hall next, takes that down, and then he probably hits all of the churches too. Because what he's doing is he is coming into town, and he's really coming in to clean house. He is coming in to save us. But he's here to save us not in the ways that we would want to be saved. He comes in to save us not to make us glorious and grand and wonderful so that we can preen and stand with pride in front of everybody else, but instead he comes to save us deep within. Whoa, and I don't know if I was ready for that kind of saving. Linda's reading a book right now, and you just mentioned it last night, but they were talking about the different, that you look deep in your heart, and you see, or your soul, and you see either idols or icons. looking deep into your heart, do you see an idol, or do you see idols, or do you see icons? Idols are those things that demand worship from us, that demand we give over our lives to those objects. And so you can see that it can be sports or politics or almost anything else, and it can even be the church. If the church is demanding something of you, and if it's kind of taking over your life, or is it an icon? Because an icon in its purest form is a window to God. So looking into our lives, looking and saying Jesus is going to turn over the idols so that we can find the icons, so that we can find the windows. Because what Jesus is really wanting to do is to help us get back to that place where we are close to God again. Because what he's trying to tell us is that sometimes these things may not have been evil in and of themselves. Sometimes they can get in the way. And you have to be able to set them aside so that you can find God in your life. He marches through town. He hits the temple. Then he hits the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes, the teachers and the religious leaders. And then he hits those, kind of like the Tea Party people who don't want to pay taxes. Don't think things have changed all that much, right? And then he says, well, pay taxes to Caesar if it's got his picture on it. And then all the Tea Party people go, whoa, this guy's not for us. And so then they walk away. Until finally, he's just left with the 12, just the closest of his disciples. And he even has a moment of honesty with them. One of you will betray me. And in the coziness of the Trinity sanctuary, where everything seems to be okay and that we're safe, we're all looking around at one another and kind of going, no. And Peter, who's always the first one to speak up, right, says, oh no, Lord. And Jesus says, listen, Rocky. Before this night is over, you will deny me. Deny that you even know me 3 times. So even Peter's pride has to be set aside. This week is not just a week of suffering. It's not a week of sacrifice, though those pieces are all there. But this is a week of honesty. Of honesty. Of not just imagining that these things took place 2,000 years ago in a city far, far away. But that these things are happening every day to us in our lives. Icons that help open up a window to God, or idols that demand our lives. I leave that just as it is with you.